Good morning, dear children. Come back to online classes. Today we are going to see in history topic, did women have a revolution? From the very beginning, women were active participants in the events which brought about so many important changes in French society. They hoped that their involvement would pressurize the revolutionary government to introduce measures to improve their lives. Most women of the third estate had to work for a living. They worked as they worked as seamstresses, sold flowers, fruits and vegetables at the market, or were employed as domestic servants in the houses of prosperous people. Most women did not have access to education or job training. Only daughters of nobles or wealthier members of the third estate would study at a convent, after which their families arranged a marriage for them. Working women had also to care for the families, that is, cook, fetch water, queue up for bread, and look after the children. Their wages were lower than those of men. The children, you have seen in the paragraph that how did women suffer in France. Most of the women had to work for their living. They worked as a domestic worker, sold flowers, fruits, and vegetables. They could not get education or job training, so working women had also to take care of their families. They cook for their family, fetch water, queue up for bread, and look after their children. And their wages were also lower than the men. In order to discuss and voice their interest, women started their own political clubs and newspaper. About 60 women clubs came up in different French cities. The Society of Revolutionary and Republican Women was the most famous of them. One of their main demands was that the women enjoy the same political rights as men. Women were disappointed that the Constitution of 1791 reduced them to passive citizens. Passive citizens here means women were disappointed that the Constitution of 1791 reduced them to passive citizens. Passive citizens mean all the men as well as the women of France who were not entitled to vote were called passive citizens. They demanded the right to vote, to be elected to the assembly, and to hold political office. Only then they felt would their interest be represented in the new government. In the early years, the revolutionary government did introduce laws that helped improve the lives of women. Together with the creation of state schools, schooling were made compulsory for all girls. Their fathers could no longer force them into marriage against their will. Marriage was made into a contract entered into freely and registered under civil law. Divorce was made legal and could be applied for by both women and men. Women could now train for jobs, could become artists, or run small businesses. So, children, let us see that which laws were made to improve the status of women in the French society here. In the beginning, the revolutionary government introduced laws to improve the lives of women. Schooling was made compulsory for all girls. Their fathers could no longer force them into marriage against their will. Divorce was made legal and could be applied for both men and women. Women could now be trained for jobs, could become artists, or run small businesses. Next is women's struggle for equal political rights, however, continued. During the reign of terror, the new government issued laws ordering closure of women's clubs and banning their political activities. So during the reign of terror, all the political clubs which are made by women were banned, and also their political activities. Many of prominent women were arrested, and a number of them executed. Women's movement for voting rights and equal rights continued through the next 200 years in many countries of the world. The fight for the vote was carried out through an international suffrage movement. During the late 19th and early 20th century, the example of the political activities of French women during the revolutionary years was kept alive as an inspiring memory. It was finally in 1946 that women in France won the right to. Next topic is abolition of slavery. So let us see how was slave trade started, when and how was it abolished. Actually, there was a shortage of labor at the plantation. So, Europeans solved this problem by a triangular slave trade between Europe, Africa, and America. Slave trade began in the 17th century. French merchants sailed to the African coast to buy slaves from their local chieftains. The slaves were packed in the ships for a 3-month voyage across the Atlantic to the Caribbean. There they were sold to the plantation owners. Exploitation of slave labor made it possible to meet the growing demand in European market for sugar, indigo and coffee. In France, the National Assembly held long discussions to provide rights to all people living in France, but it did not pass any laws. Ultimately, in 1794, the convention passed a law to free all the slaves in the French colonies. This was, however, a short term measure as later Napoleon Bonaparte reintroduced slavery. Next topic is the revolution and everyday life. One important law that came into effect soon after the storming of the Bastille in the summer 1789 was the abolition of censorship. In the old regime, all written materials and cultural activities, books, newspaper, plays, could be published or performed only after they had been approved by the censors of the king. That means whatever books, news is printed in newspaper, books, plays, whatever is published, that should be approved after the permission of the king. Now, the Declaration of the Rights of Men and Citizens proclaimed freedom of speech and expression to be a natural right. Newspaper, pamphlets, books, and printed pictures flooded the towns of France, from where they traveled rapidly into the countryside. So, whatever books, newspapers, all are printed, they have flooded the towns of France, and also they reached to the countryside also. They all described and discussed the events and changes taking place in the France. Freedom of the press also meant that opposing views of events could be expressed. Each side sought to convince the others of its position through the medium of print. Plays, songs, and festive processions attracted large numbers of people. This was one way they could grasp and identify with ideas such as liberty or justice that political philosophers wrote about at length in texts which only a handful of educated people could be read. Next is conclusion. In this conclusion, we'll see that in 1804, Napoleon Bonaparte crowned himself the Emperor of France and reintroduced monarchy in France. He conquered his neighboring countries and created kingdoms where he placed his own family members. He was called a modernizer of Europe. He introduced many laws such as the protection of private property and a uniform system of weights and measures provided by the decimal system. Initially, many people believed that Napoleon was a liberator who would bring freedom to the people. But soon his army was viewed as an invading force. So he was finally defeated in 1815 in the famous Battle of Waterloo. Many of his measures that carried the revolutionary ideas of liberty and modern laws to other parts of Europe had an impact on people long after Napoleon has left.